Last night's stream that I did talking about Honda and Nissan merger ending, some sort of issue happened where the screen was black. I'm still trying to kind of figure things out as the channel's, growing. So I'll figure that out for the next live stream, but I thought I'd make this video today, quickly discuss that the merger between Honda and Nissan seems to be on the rocks. It's going down in flames. Uh, I guess I guess like when your ex-girlfriend says she wants to get back together and it's not going to work out. But this, for most car enthusiasts, most people in the auto industry, when we initially heard about this, we kind of all knew it was probably not going to happen. But it's just interesting to see that this is in Reuters from about 4 days ago. Nissan set to step back from merger with Honda, sources say, by Maki Shiraki and Daniel Lucinik. I believe that's how you pronounce your last name, Daniel. Summary: Honda sounded out Nissan about becoming subsidiary. Nissan opposed the Honda proposal. Nissan board met Wednesday, agreed to scrap talks. It sounds like from reporting from Reuters in this article, and then there's also an article in the Wall Street Journal, which I'm not going to read because you have to subscribe to the Wall Street Journal. But it sounds like this is definitely not going to happen. And we're going to go through the article and kind of discuss why. Nissan looks to step back from merger talks with rival Honda, two sources said on Wednesday, calling into question a $60 billion tie-up to create the world's #3 automaker, and potentially leaving Nissan to drive its turnaround alone. Talks between the two Japanese automakers have been complicated by growing differences, according to multiple people familiar with the matter, all of whom declined to be named because they were not authorized to speak to the media. Reuters reported earlier that Nissan could call off talks after Honda sounded it out about becoming a subsidiary. Nissan balked as this was a departure from what was originally framed as a merger of equals, one of the people said. Yeah, probably as Honda got into the talks, they realized Nissan is just not really a good company to merge with. Typically, if you're going to merge companies, they should have, Nissan's engineering is not as good as Honda. I mean, that is just apparent when you look at used Honda resale values versus Nissan's. And even when I've driven Nissan's, my thought has always been, I mean, the car's not so terrible, but if you consider what else is out there for similar price, I would not buy it. Like at work, I sometimes drive a Nissan Kicks or Kick, whatever it's called, and we drive that to deliveries, and nobody at work, including myself, likes driving that Nissan over the Ford trucks that are available to us. Uh, so, and something interesting was Carlos Ghosn, who's the former head of a Nissan Renault, kind of this French Nissan conglomerate, and he has a whole interesting story about how he had to leave Japan, but I won't get into that in this video. He thought this was not a good idea because he said the Nissan engineering and the Honda engineering have very different thought processes, and trying to merge them is not a good idea. So I'm sure as Honda got in the talks with Nissan, they probably realized that too and said, yeah, we just want you to be a subsidiary of us. It was not immediately clear if the merger could survive, with comments from the two sources appearing to leave open the option for a restart. Highly doubt that would happen. Honda, whose market value about 7.92 trillion yen, $51 billion, is more than 5 times bigger than Nissan's at 1.44 trillion yen, which is increasingly worried about its smaller rival's progress on the turnaround plan, another source said. Yeah, that's not surprising. Nissan shares slid more than 4% on the Tokyo Stock Exchange, which temporarily suspended trading in the stock after a Nikkei Business Daily report that the automaker would pull out of talks. Honda shares rose more than 8%, a sign of apparent investor relief. Nissan and Honda said in separate statements that the Nikkei report was not based on information announced by the companies and that they aim to finalize a future direction by mid-February. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Nissan's long-term alliance partner, French carmaker Renault, would vigorously defend the interests of the group and its stakeholders, a spokesperson for the group said, adding that recent press information indicated no decision had been made on the possible end of the talks. Renault, which owns 36% of Nissan, including 18.7% through a French trust, has previously said it would be open to a principle to the merger. To be open in principle to the merger. So I guess Renault which owns some of Nissan, they're still open to the merger, probably because they know merging with Honda is still their best option. Like, I'm not sure who else wants to buy them. The prospect of the merger scuppered raises questions about how hard Nissan, which is in the middle of a turnaround plan and aims to cut 9,000 employees and 20% of global capacity, can ride out its latest crisis without external help. Honda is Japan's second largest car maker behind Toyota, and Nissan is the third largest. The two said in December they were in talks to create the world's third largest automaker by sales, a move that would allow them to bulk up in an industry facing a huge threat from China's BYD and other electric vehicle entrants. BYD stands for Build Your Dream. The talks have also coincided with the disruption posed by the potential tariffs from U.S. President Donald Trump. Investors may get concerned about Nissan's future and turnaround, said Morningstar analyst Vincent Sun, adding Nissan also has a larger risk exposure to U.S.-Mexico tariffs than Honda and Toyota. Control. Nissan has been hit harder than some rivals by the shift to EVs, having never fully recovered after years of crisis sparked by the 2018 arrest and removal of former chairman Carlos Ghosn. Yeah, that was a whole crazy story where he had to leave the country. They accused him of all this stuff. He was in jail in Japan for a while. Whether it's true or not, I can't really. I'm not really going to comment on that. The news saying that Nissan did not want to be in a Honda subsidiary appears to be highlight the control that was a contentious issue, said Christopher Richter, Japan's auto analyst at brokers CLSA. Without being able to have control, Honda appears to be walking away. Yeah, I mean that totally makes sense. I think Honda's like the story is that Nissan was going to essentially get bought by Foxconn, possibly. They rejected that. Foxconn is a huge Taiwanese based maker of electronics, and they make iPhones and a lot of phone accessories, things like that, electronics. They want to push into making EVs, and buying Nissan would have been a good step for them. But the Japanese government essentially approached Honda and said it would be ideal if you guys could merge. It sounds like Honda was initially open to the talking about it, and now they're just like, no, this is not going to happen. Nissan and Honda had initially said they planned to decline the direction of integration by the end of January. Plan to decide, sorry, the direction of integration by the end of January, but that was later pushed back to mid-February. Sources told Reuters last month that Nissan's smaller alliance partner Mitsubishi Motors, which had considered joining the merger, might not do so. Yeah, so this thing is going down. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think in the comments. You could shoot me an email as well. I try to read everything. I can't respond to everything always, but what do you think of this Nissan and Honda merger, Honda Nissan merger? Do you think it's going to happen at this point? Do you think it was a good idea? How would they still integrate? I'd be interested to know. What do you think of like Nissan quality versus Honda quality? I'd be interested to know all that. If you guys like this video or any of my videos, I'd really appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. That helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. If you like the video, that also helps me out. And I'll catch you in the next video.